towards our next session, which is on the topic Integrated Power and Cooling, Energy Management in Data Center. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Sreejith G, who is a senior data center operations professional with over 20 plus years of experience in data center infrastructure, operations management, service delivery, project management and infrastructure monitoring and management in the IT and ICT industry. He has experience in managing the complete data center lifecycle, including design, implementation, transition, operations and service management. With strong domain knowledge and interpersonal skills, he leads and guides high-performing teams towards process implementation, productivity enhancement, efficiency improvement, and customer satisfaction. With this, let's welcome Sreejith with a big round of applause.
For the wonderful introduction, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, UBS Forum, for having me here. And it is always a pleasure to address such an exciting audience. And I know it is after lunch, but I think my previous speaker has kept the audience alive. And most of my presentations, I think, content is already covered by him. So my job is little reduced with that. So there is a constrained time frame, 15 minutes given to me. So I'll try to give some of the perspectives, which is nothing new, which I'm going to reiterate some of the points which is already spoken by my previous speaker, and then we'll take it forward. So thank you for that. So now if you look at it in the data center, now why data center is so important today? For the last 10 years, we are seeing a very big momentum in the data center, especially in the co-location data center. Some of the statistics, if you look at for the last, especially 5 years, the huge investment has come into data center co-location. So it is from both co-location players, from the customers, from the enterprise segment. So there's about 6.6 billion investment has come in. And in the year of 2024, it is going to be around 25,000 racks going to be installed. And by end of this financial year or by end of 24, we are expected to have the Indian data center industry or Indian data center power utilization is going to touch about 2 gigawatt. So which is something we never thought about it 10 years back, right? There is a kind of quantum of business opportunity, quantum of digitization, the quantum of data center build which is happening here, and the demand is more or less going to be same fashion with maybe about 80% from the hyperscalers and the rest of from the enterprise. But I see a lot of chunk which is going the self-build by the hyperscalers, the BFSI segment and the enterprise segment. I am seeing a little movement, so we will not be surprised to see maybe about 30% contributor in coming 2 years on this pie chart, right? So this is something I have spoken about it, the investment and the 2 gigawatt of power which is anticipated by next year. But there are various challenges. So primarily as a data center operator or a head of operations for my own company, there is a huge challenge. While there is a good opportunity here in the market and customers are coming in and demand drivers, but what are the huge challenges? The big challenge is the environmental aspects, right? The environmental aspect is the kind of emission which is coming from various devices, various operations, starting from the server itself to the backend devices, including DG sets, PAHUs, cooling towers, chillers, and so on and so forth, right? So the green, to keep it green is very big challenge, and not only keeping it the green aspects. I heard my industry colleague Ms. Prashant was mentioning about the ESG aspect. So ESG is a huge challenge for all of us, right? And then to keeping this facility up and running, there is no 99.x uptime with respect to any standards. Today, the customers are coming and asking about 100%. 100% is the new norms. So if you're able to deliver anything below 100%, customers are not going to be favoring you. Customers are not going to be patient. Customers are not going to forgive you. That is a challenge the data center service providers we have. So we have to maintain 100% uptime. So how do you maintain this kind of huge power density? And again, the density is increasing with the same footprint. If you look at 10 years back, the facility of, let's say, 1.1 lakh of square feet of facility which used to deliver about 5 megawatts Today it is delivering 50 megawatt. Some facilities I see about more than 70 megawatts. That is the challenge we have. And how do we keep this this assets? How do we keep this under operational control? How do we maintain it? How do we ensure 100% uptime? And again, how do we look at the ESG aspect and then the efficiency aspect? So these are going to be the huge challenge for all of us. And there are some other things which already spoken about. The integrated power and cooling monitoring comes into big aspects. We need to keep monitoring the assets, right? How it is designed, how the base design parameters and this base design parameters are actually delivering in the operational aspect, or it is minus or plus. So we need to look at it. And again, when you look at the life cycle, again he explained very well, starting from the concept design to design stage to construction to operations, right? So again, here we need to adopt the technologies, the right equipment selection. So how do you select the equipment? So now when you talk about 50 megawatt facility, the 50 megawatt facility to reach at least 50% of this utilization, it takes about 4 or 5 years. So how do you maintain your OPEX under control, right? Of course, you have been putting a lot of infrastructure assets into infrastructure, and the right sizing of the equipment, right selection of the equipment makes a big role. So maybe we may spend about a little pi extra, but looking at the TCO, at what level of efficiency this equipment gives you in the part load also, right? In the architecture and design, how do you look at the architecture? What kind of redundancies are going to be built? And again, we talk about a lot of redundancies, n+1, n+n, and again n+2. See a lot of kind of architecture which is there. So what kind of architecture are we adopting? So which architecture is going to provide you with the right kind of 100% uptime? That is one. Second, the kind of efficiency which you are looking at, right? Then I will talk about the tools aspect. So what kind of tools you are going to use it? And again, when you look at the large, massive infrastructures, we cannot adopt the way we were using for the last 20-25 years, right? So the traditional mechanism may not work. So we may have to look at the AIs, ML, IoTs, the predictabilities, the predictive maintenance things. So the challenges are there in terms of adopting the tools and deploying the tools, and then integrating all those things into the same platform, right? So Hitachi, of course, provides a wonderful platform who can integrate, starting from your upside power transformers to high side electrical infrastructure, low side electrical infrastructure, your chiller infrastructure, your power infrastructure, your fire and control systems, and the BMS infrastructure. How do we integrate all those complex infrastructure into a common platform so that we can monitor in a holistic manner and do a predictive maintenance strategy and adopt some of the early maintenance and early signs of vulnerabilities in the system, right? When it comes to operations, operations to me, I want to make it very simple. I often tell to my team, so don't make it complicated. So you have to stick on basics. So as long as you are making the simplicity in operations while your system is robust, make your SOPs, EOPs simple, make it aware to the team members, have a very stringent preventive maintenance calendar, which can be 5 years. Because why I'm saying it 5 years, because 52 weeks calendar may address your annual maintenance strategy, but some of the maintenance aspects which span across multi-years. So some maintenance or some assessment which repeats in either 2 years or 5 years. How do you accommodate it? So how do you plan it? Yes, definitely we need to plan it, and we may have to have a appropriate tool for having these PPMs, monitoring and optimizing running parameters. And we talked about SOPs. So operations, we would make it very simple, apply to the basics, and then do what you do in a more effective manner, right? So what have I talked about, starting from the high side to low sides, both in terms of electrical infrastructure to chiller infrastructure to building management systems, and then the end IT devices. So this is very important. And then how do you make out of this? So a lot of data is going to be generating. There are multi TB data is kind of generated on daily basis. So it is not that kind of easy, and it is not that practical also to look at this data in manually. So you need to adopt analytics analytics. You need to adopt the various ML tools to understand what exactly is coming out of this data, right? And this data analytics is very, very important. The output of this analytics gives you what exactly your facility standpoint today, what are your KPIs, right? So those KPIs, is it minus or plus? The operation team or operations senior management to look at it and take adequate actions timely. Right? So this again, I talked about it, about the challenges of sustainability, the challenges of greenness, the challenges of going the net carbon neutrality. So all these things are kind of challenges. The all, again, it's not only the initiatives we are taking. So while we are taking initiatives internally, but there are regulatory bodies coming and banking on you, right? Now, ESG is kind of best practices today, but tomorrow, ESG is going to be a regulatory norm, where you may have to look at what is your carbon, footprint. So, what is going to be your waste management system? Is your hazardous waste is kind of done in 90 days, 60 days? Is your noise level under control? Is your emissions are under control? If it is kind of any deviation, the authorities are going to come and put you on a big challenge. And that point of time will be a big challenge. Or here this noise, okay, we would have taken care of this parameter earlier, and now we are in a trouble, right? So that is where we need to put a right measurement parameters, right KPIs, and right methodologies in place. And if you look at next generation technology, so the technologies are fast moving, and a lot of technologies are coming. The immersion cooling, the scalable cooling, and direct chip cooling, and the technologies like hydrogen power backup. So these are going to be adopted. And again, today it's a technology we are kind of evaluating, but this is a reality. Now, as we speak, we just signed up a contract with one of the service providers from Australia. We're going to have an immersion liquid cooling soon in India, right? And it's already happening. So what gives us benefit? So let's say if you look at liquid cooling, to me, it gives you a huge relief on the noise. Now today, if you get in data hall, you cannot, without an in-ear protection, you cannot go into a data center, and it's tough time for an operating engineer or a technician to go and do the local troubleshooting, right? So this kind of technology will give you noiseless. Now again, if you look at the hydrogen backup, DGs, when you want to operate DG operates, the emissions are there, carbon, pollution, PM, noise, all those factors are there. When you have this right technology in place, there is no noise, there is no pollution, right? There is no PM controlling. So you are taking care of the environment. So next decade, I'm sure all of us are aware we are going to address this environment factor more along with the technological advance and technological growth which you are seeing, right? So again, keep it very simple. This is what my last slide summarizing. What are the users? What exactly they are looking at? What are the technologies where users can accept, right? Then is the technologies or some of things are users are aware? Are these users aware? Your technology, your complexities, are they aware? And what kind of IT level decision making happening inside the user community? Let's say I'm talking about liquid cooling. So unless users adopt, unless the user community senior management take a decision, yes, I will go to the liquid cooling technology instead of the traditional technology, they are the game changers. Then we come into picture and provide the appropriate solution for you, right? Then it comes to design. So how do you design? I already talked about design. It has to be robust, and it has to be modular. You cannot build 50 megawatt capacity on day one unless you have a capacity requirement from a user, right? So we often don't have that kind of flexibility unless except some of the cases, right? So how do you make your design modular, scalable? So you make a robust design, let's say 50 or 100 megawatt backplane, and keep adding 5 megawatt each without disturbing the existing operation, right? So your design has to be robust and flexible in terms of modularity, in terms of scalability, right? It also should address the efficiency aspect of it, correct? Then the operations, as I told you, my philosophy is very simple. Apply basics and have common sense in operations, right? Any operations, be it IT operations, be it non-IT operations, be it any operations. If you deviate from common sense and try to apply some complicated jargons or technologies, you'll be gone, right? Make it very clear, very basics, and then derive that SOPs aligning to the field team, right? That's what my philosophy in operations. I think that's my last slide. Couple of I kept it. So any questions? I think I am before the time. I can take a couple of questions. I have liberty of taking a couple of questions, madam.
Thank you so much, Sreejith sir. Do we have any questions for him? Sure.
Just one question on that immersive cooling technology. What about the maintenance? How easy is it going to be? Is it going to be like you have to drain the liquid and do it, or you're going to bring the equipment out and do it?
This is going to be the last, the major maintenance, but we don't anticipate that kind of maintenance. So let's say there are various technologies available, right? Let's say I'll tell you some of the technologies which we are going to deploy. So there's a container, right? There's a container where a specific liquid is there, and in that there are compartments. In that compartments where the processes are going to be immersed, right? And each of the processes are going to be mapped with your application layer. Now, unlike you go and do a maintenance with each server, here the maintenance methodology is like this. When there's an issue, this particular the module, like a blade module, is going to be replaced, right? So we are going to have a sophisticated team, right? So we'll develop a team where we'll have an OEM specific training, and we have that kind of team deployed 24/7 basis, and the operating methodologies and various cause and effect matrices. Any operation same cause and effect matrix is common for any maintenance. So what would be the cost? What would be the anticipated scenario? In that scenario, what going to be your SOP? Right? In that SOP, who is going to address that, and what kind of skill set is required? So this is where we are going to have it. So I request you to just connect with me offline, and I can show you maybe in January how we are going to do this, how we are going to do that maintenance. Maybe before going on live, maybe we can demonstrate to you also. I think you are also going for this technology. I'm glad that you're asking this question. So this kind of questions we can adopt, and maintenance is I can tell you it's very seamless. Even it's simpler than the way we manage the current assets. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.